Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 6 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Everything loud and wicked every Saturday 3 to 5 p.m. with Outside with Pepita. Lone vibes, lone laughs, and lone entertainment. Come on the road with we. Cause when we say Outside with Pepita, we're there all over Jamaica. Anyway, check them out. We're there. We're in on the business. Stay tuned in for prizes, surprises, giveaways, guest artists, and enough more. But hold on there. Don't forget to big up my DJ. DJ Jerome, the shell boss, I'm gonna make it bust to pew pew with the maddest, baddest, and latest tunes. So look out for Outside with Pepita. We might be coming to a town near you. You heard it here first. Outside with Pepita, Saturdays 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. The new revolution in media. Jamaica, lock it in and don't miss a thing.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all the schoolers who are taking beats.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team, Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Me sing. And if you pressure who no more, you illiterate and foolish, you might on a cook. And you not gonna get no work, and you're deep like a puss. Send me granny with a
3 minutes after the hour of 8 p.m. and you are joining us here on Nationwide 90 FM, the best revolution station in Jamaica. And like I say, each and every weekend across the world, you are listening to Damon Scarlett. This is the A-Team Radio Show, your on-air study program, and we are just going to get right into it. And as we are winding down the academic term, the semester, we know that persons are gearing up for the holidays. But just before the holidays, we still have some work to do. And even during the holidays, we know that our students, especially those who are going to be sitting their CSEC and their CAPE exams, that they still have to give some attention to their schoolwork. You know, they'll have time to relax and to enjoy the festivities, but the SBAs, the IAs still continue. And last week, we had a great conversation as we started to look at CSEC information technology. We had part 1 last week, and I did say to you that we'll come back with part 2 for this weekend. So we have with us again this evening Mrs. Janelle O'Mealy Jones, an educator and leader specializing in technology integrated teaching. And we had a great conversation, and I was sharing with her earlier on this week that we got some positive feedback from our listeners and our viewers, and they were really engaged. Students were engaged. And this evening we're going to continue by looking at that. So we're going to be turning our attention to section 4 of the information technology syllabus, as we are going to be focusing on internet and communication technology with a focus on data communication and networks. So when we talk about data communication, we're focusing on, how data moves across the world to the networks that connect our schools, our homes, our businesses. And this is a topic that will help everybody it impacts everybody, especially coming out of Hurricane Melissa and how we're building back stronger. We have to build back our information technology systems. So here with us again after a hard day of work. Welcome, Mrs. Janelle O'Malley Jones. How are you today?
Hi, Damien. I'm good. I'm fine.
Hello.
Just came in from work. An
Okay.
exciting day, right? Getting ready for fair tomorrow. ISOCA, so everybody come out.
Okay. Okay,
Yes,
love
yes.
that. Love that.
Right.
And, all right, so we're going to be talking about Section 4. And then last week we mentioned that we wanted to touch a little bit on spreadsheets, as we mentioned that. So we're going to do that
Right.
in the second half of the show. But I don't know if we had said it last week, though, but if you could just tell us, our listeners and our viewers, why is information technology important? Why do we need IT?
Well, we do need IT. We're living in a trending world where
Yes.
IT has taken over drastically. I mean, even traveling, no, we need information technology. I was coming from New York just 2 months ago, and I had to sign up a form online, and they would not allow me to enter that plane until that is signed up. So everybody is using information technology nowadays. As I said, it's a trend. It's trending. So we do need IT in such a technology vast world.
Right, and as you think about even how we interact with each other on a day-to-day basis, the fact that we use the computers, we're on our phones, we're sending emails, and we're going to talk about that in this section, right?
Right, exactly. Right. I mean, even our youngest baby using the tablets, swiping, touching.
Yes.
They have made the interface, how we interact with the technology, so easy that the elderly can manipulate as well. As you said, the email, a part of the syllabus, help the students to prepare for the use of emailing,
Yes.
using social media, and that is the internet and communication network or data communication, the sending and receiving of messages from
Yes.
one person to another. That part of the syllabus is also an exciting part for students because this is one thing that they can relate to. They use the technology every day to communicate. The WhatsApp, the Snapchat,
Yes.
and yes, Zoom. I'm on Zoom now.
Right.
Yeah, and without the internet, that wouldn't have been possible.
Right, great. And thanks for laying that framework there, because we're going to go into some terms that we may hear on a day-to-day basis because we use them. And then there are some terms that you might not even come across if we're not so
Right.
into information technology. So let's start out by defining data communication. I want to start there, and then I'll just let you continue after that in terms of data communication. What exactly is that?
Right, so data communication is the sending and receiving of messages from over a network. So the internet, which is the biggest network that we have, is
Right.
network on top of network. So it's over a network, and it's also the correct interpretation of the messages as well. Right, so the emailing, that's a form of data communication. We use a protocol, which is a rule called VoIP, which I'm using now for
Yes.
voice, right? So voice over internet protocol, that's also a form of data communication. Sending WhatsApp messages to your friend, that's a form of data communication as well. Yes, and data communication is enabled both wireless and wired and wirelessly, right? So we talk about wireless network, and a lot of, like, for example, my students would say, Miss, turn on your hotspot
Yes.
so that I can get some internet, right? They send each other information via airdropping. That's a wireless form of data communication
Yes.
as well. Wired, now we use like the Ethernet cable, the cables, we call it Ethernet cable, or some people will say Ethernet cable.
Yes.
And those are twisted pair cables. Those are literal wires twisted together that enable internet connection. We have to have that plugged in, so we call that wired connection as yes.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you, so you're saying that as we transmit data, the transmission of media, then, so you have the wired and you have the wireless, and so the
Right.
wireless would incorporate the Bluetooth and the hotspot, and whereas the wired now is the Ethernet or the Ethernet, as you said.
Right.
We're getting the concept. But before we go there, I wanted to break down, because we mentioned what data communication is, but in terms of network, what is a network?
So basically, network is the connection of computer and its devices.
Yes.
So I connect my phone to my laptop. That's a network. That's a personal network. We have different types of network, though. We have local area network, which is LAN.
Right.
So connecting within a local area, for example, your school, and you connect your printers and your servers on that network.
Yes.
That's a local area network. We have metropolitan area network, and that's MAN. And that is how we are, that's how we basically use our banks. We can basically use the banks throughout Jamaica. We can use any bank, any multi-link, because it's connected to a metropolitan area, that's city and towns. So you have the different, so you have Kingston connected to Montego Bay, connected to Mandeville, connected here. It's in a metropolitan area.
Yes.
And then we also have WAN, which is wide area network, and that's the biggest network. And I mentioned that before, which is the internet. So now you need, now you can call your relative on WhatsApp using your WANs. Yes. So it's just a connection of computers and its devices. And even a printer, like on a personal network, you can connect your printer and use your Bluetooth facility to send information from your phone or from your laptop or from your tablet to your printer. That's a PAN, personal area network. So we go from PAN to LAN to MAN to WAN.
Oh, I'm trying to remember if when I was doing information technology, if I was introduced to PAN, but I know I'm familiar, of course, with the LAN, the WAN, and the MAN, as you said there. And the personal area network, as you were saying, you said about personal devices? Does it say that's first again?
So personal area network, which is PAN, because Bluetooth has become so popular nowadays, right? So I can connect my phone to my car. I am basically, that's a PAN that I have there, that I've established there, because it's between my phone and my car, and my music is coming through the speakers of my car. That's a personal area network. Gone are the days, Damien, we never have that.
No, we didn't. We did not.
We have radio.
We had radio. And it's interesting that you said that, because I was speaking with someone within the IT field earlier this morning, and I was talking about connecting the car radio via Wi-Fi, and then he was saying to me that if you want those options, the devices to use, it's going to cost you, But then he said, well, you have your hotspot from your phone, so you can use your hotspot in your car. I was
Definitely.
like, oh wow, yeah, I never thought about that.
I don't have to hold my cell phone in my hand in order to use the facility. I have my messages being read to me. Right. So that's a personal area network, PAN. Because Bluetooth has become so popular, then yes, we had need for that.
Certainly, and especially in this day and age, we do need to have that, especially as we're traversing where we're going. So we've been laying some foundation there in terms of giving some definition of some basic terms, but there's also what we call bandwidth. But I want you to give me that definition when we come back on the other side of this break. This is the A-Team Radio Show. We're talking about CXC Information Technology. We'll be right back after this.
Every pressure you're illiterate and foolish, you might on a cook, and you're not gonna get no work, and your teeth like a puss. Send me granny with a purse, I eat you off a joke. If I see them, I hold your red and big tonight, you.
It's the weekend and the youth are taking over the airwaves. Yes, we are the new voices and faces of the Talk Up You radio show. The voice of the Jamaican youth right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
After a busy week of work and school, come and wine with Jamaica's #1 youth radio show.
We're bringing you entertainment, fun facts, and staying true to youth development and advocacy.
Catch the action each and every Saturday as we roll out buzzy segments. What say you?
Youth for chat.
Life skills.
Global Connect.
And Bust the Youth.
That's the Talk Up Youth radio show Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
Talk Up Youth, Miss Effie.
Talk Up Youth. Don't miss it.
Everything loud and wicked every Saturday 3 to 5 p.m. with Outside with Pepita. Loan vibes, loan laughs, and loan entertainment. Come on the road with we. Cause when we say Outside with Pepita, we're there all over Jamaica. Anyway, check them out. We're there. We're in on the business. Stay tuned in for prizes, surprises, giveaways, guest artists, and enough more. But hold on there. We forget to big up my DJ. DJ Jerome, the shell boss, I'm gonna make your bust to pew pew with the maddest, baddest, and latest tunes. So look out for Outside with Pepita. We might be coming to a town near you. You heard it here first. Outside with Pepita, Saturdays 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. The new revolution in media. Jamaica, lock it in and don't miss a thing.
Me sing, every pressure who no more. You illiterate and foolish, you might on a cook, and you now don't get no work, and your teeth.
Welcome back to the A-Team Radio Show right here on Nationwide 90 FM. You are listening to the voice of Damon Scarlett, and my special guest at this evening is Mrs. Amelia Jones. And just before the break, we were giving some definition as it relates to the section of the CXC Information Technology syllabus that focuses on ICT. And when we talk about the ICT sector, it's one of the most important sectors in modern society because it supports communication, education, business, and of course national development. And every day as we go through life, we are always communicating. And when we talk about how we drive economic growth, ICT is a part of that. And I mean, not everybody would want to get a career in information technology, but the field is so vast, so wide. And as we said last week, there are a number of careers that you can venture in. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But we are back now, and we wanted to give a definition of bandwidth. We are looking at data communication and networks. And just before the break, you brought down one LAN pan man and we talk about how we use the internet, right? So How would we define bandwidth now?
So bandwidth is basically the amount or the maximum volume of data that can be traveled over a network.
Okay.
So it's not the speed, but it's the amount. The wider the pipe, the more water runs through, right? Mm-hmm. So if we should think of a bandwidth as a pipe, the wider the pipe, the more data that can be passed through.
Okay, great. And so when we talk about the use of so persons as they use their devices or as they get internet access, then they look at the bandwidth that is being carried or that they have, that they can access it, right? Mm-hmm.
Right. So the more bandwidth, the more data that can be passed through.
Okay.
The network, right?
Right. Okay. And then we have broadband, and then we have the narrow band as well. So the narrow would more give you like a lower capacity, while the broadband would give you a high capacity transmission.
Definitely.
Okay.
You're on the A-Team, Damien.
And this is the A-Team. And this is the A-Team.
Right. So you have narrow band, you have voice band,
okay,
and you have broadband. Mm-hmm. So the narrow band is the least capacity. The voice band carries voice over the network, and that's intermediate. And then you have the broadband. Right. Okay. And Digicel said that they offer us what? Which one of them? Broadband?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. What I wanted to ask, in this segment of section of the syllabus, what would an examination question look like in terms of data communication and network?
All right, so they can ask you for, they can give a scenario and ask you to differentiate between wired and wireless network.
Okay.
Right? I remember that we said that network is basically a connection between computer and its devices.
Yes.
And you're asked to state the difference between wired and wireless.
Right.
Right? So you talk about the cables. And we touched on that just a little bit. With the wired, we have the twisted pairs. So basically, we use cables and connect. We have twisted pairs, we have coaxial and fiber optic.
Right.
Yes, right. And wireless, which we spoke about, satellite,
right,
Bluetooth, and we spoke about our hotspots and so on. Yeah.
Okay, great. And so we get that as an example there. And when we talk about now, so the other big thing that I know that students, I believe that students still need to know that the difference between the internet and also the intranet, and I believe there is also extranet.
The extranet.
Right. So let's talk about that.
All right. So let's go from intranet. So intra means in. So when we talk about intranet, we're talking about the network within an organization. It's a private network that basically facilitates employees logging on. Let's think about a banking system.
Yes.
So if we have a banking system, we can enable an intranet for those persons within the organization.
Yes.
The extranet now is an external network that allows customer to log on to the intranet. So our online banking, that's an extranet. The fact that we can go onto our online banking, check our accounts, get our accounting information, make transfers from one bank to the next, that's the extranet.
Yes.
And of course, the biggest of the biggest is the internet, and it's the connection of everything now coming together. It's the biggest network connecting all our devices together to make it worldwide.
So then you need to have internet access,
internet connection, right?
Connection to be able to use the intranet and the extranet, if I'm understanding it.
Definitely. Within in the intranet, you don't necessarily need the internet for the intranet, if you're not allowing outsiders to come onto your network. So you have a small business and you can connect your devices together. Remember, we spoke about wired connection.
Yes.
Right. So we can connect to our devices. We can use servers to connect to our devices together as well. But definitely we need for the extranet, we definitely need internet connection.
Okay, great. And we understand that as well. Continuing in the whole matter of data communication and networks, we want to also, there are some internal concepts then that we come across as it relates to email messaging, right? Or electronic messaging, but we narrow that down and say email. Let's talk about that. How would we define an email? Now, I don't want to think that everybody knows what an email is, but peradventure, they don't know the correct term. Let's talk about an email, the World Wide Web, and also, I think last week we mentioned the whole matter of, how we make up websites using Java, HTML, or so. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so for emailing, the E in email stands for electronic mail. So it's sending messages over the internet, right? And in order for us to send messages over the internet, we have to be on the World Wide Web. Right, so the World Wide Web is a platform for us to use the internet. So that the World Wide Web gives us a platform to do all these facilities, to email, e-learning, that's learning online. As I said, electronic banking. Remember, the extranet provides that as well.
Yes.
So the World Wide Web is a platform for all of that. That is what enables us to use the internet. And as I was saying last week, and I promised you a course on that, Damian.
Yes, you did. Yes.
Right. So we have different programming languages that are behind our websites. and we know that programming is one of the hardest subjects or one of the hardest courses.
Right, very meticulous.
Love those classes, right?
Right.
Right. A lot of us see our way through in those courses, to be honest. But we have JavaScript.
Right.
We have C++. Yes, and of course, for a website, we use what is called HTML, that's hypertext markup language, to write our codes so that we can basically see the website. So behind all these websites, we have these programming languages.
Right. And then one of the things we talk about with programming, and this is why the job market within IT is so vast, because even within the coding, because I know you have, for example, those persons who move into like the software element of things,
Engineer.
And they test it. I remember when I was studying IT and I was doing a course called software engineering, and then we would look at top-down and bottom-up testing and how you go through the different coding, and I was like, wow, it blew my mind. I don't know if I would want to venture into software engineering, but possibly I take that over programming any day. But I want to say though, big up to all of the programmers. And as you know, currently for Jamaica, we are advancing STEM education. We are also pushing more in terms of coding and programming, and we want children and young people to get exposed to this at an early age, so that they so that they can have a liking for it, and not only that, but they can apply the discipline and the lessons or principles then to the different areas of their lives. So we see how it's quite helpful. So we definitely would want to look back at that in terms of that course on HTML. But like with the internet and with life, we do know that there can be threats or risk when it comes on to using the internet or using the World Wide Web. World Wide Web, let me get that correctly. But that now leads us to the other part of the syllabus that focuses on data security and integrity. So what is that all about? Let's walk us through that.
All right, so data security is basically the protection of your data on the internet. So we know the most common way of protecting your data is using password, and that's a combination of characters. And we know the rules of password already. We can't have a password with our full names.
Right.
Right. So So that's one way to protect our data. Antivirus software. We're on the internet every day, and when we go on these websites, we do have viruses.
Viruses, yes.
And these are malicious software that attach themselves to programs. That's why I will never go back to Windows operating system, honestly.
Wow.
I'll stick to Mac. Less virus. It's more secured, right? Not that I'm beating against Windows, but when we have Windows, we have to continuously be upgrading and updating our antivirus software, because every day there are new viruses out there. Come on, they make viruses to get money. So these are malicious code that they come down. We have different type of viruses too. We have Trojan horse, and that's the one that, pretend to be something good. So you see the game come up, you have won $1 million, click on this link, right? We have worms, and these are very dangerous because it takes up the spaces of your computer system. So it's very important that we have antivirus protection or software. These are programs that will actually block the viruses from getting for operating systems.
And that's key information, because even as we use not only the computers but also even our phones as well, it's good to have our devices protected. And I know that I know that you have free antivirus software, but then you have the paid version that would give you an opportunity to do more in terms of that kind of coverage. And one of the things we always say is that you can have the same password for too long, or you ought not to, especially in a more corporate setting as well. Like I said, everyone, every 6 weeks or so. I know that some people have different timelines in terms of when you're supposed to change your password, right?
Right.
But why do we need to do that or keep up with changing our passwords?
Definitely because we do have hackers out there. We call them scammers.
Yes.
But we do have hackers out there, and these are persons who, hackers are crackers. Crackers are persons who will crack codes and use it as for malicious gain. Okay? So persons can go onto your computer system, steal your credit card information, go onto your bank system, do their transferring and so on. With NCB now, you have the facial recognition for your online banking.
Yes.
And for NCB, what they do is like every 3 weeks, I have to put in my password to ensure that, I'm still the one activating my account. So that's like two-step verification. So you have the facial and the password. So it's very important to update your password regularly.
Yes.
To keep your information safe.
Right, and as we talk about keeping our information safe, this is just a life lesson to everybody, to all Jamaicans, all companies. If you are listening and you're watching this evening and you have not changed your password in a long time, you are...
I think I'm so guilty of that though, Damian, because my memory is...
I think all of us, we get so comfortable.
But yes, it's very important that we do that,
Right, so I'm giving that clarion call that no. So as you're listening, please, when we go on the other side of this break, which we're about to take, please go and change your password and make sure it's a password that you can remember as well.
Right? Write it down.
Yeah, write it
somewhere.
Down. All right, this is the A-Team Radio Show. We are talking about the CXC Information Technology syllabus. This evening, we are focusing on data communication and network. So we soon come.
If you're not no education, people treat you like a book.
Merry Money Mania loan promotion this Christmas. Borrow big and win bigger. Get loans of $1.5 million or $2 million at specially reduced rates, plus a chance to win your share of $1 million. New customers get double entries. Hurry! The promotion runs October 15 to December 19, 2025. Visit any branch or chrisandcharles.com for details. Chris and Charles, making Christmas merry. Conditions apply.
Exciting news! The Design Studio on Nationwide 90 FM just got a whole lot bigger. Join us this and every Saturday now from 1 to 3 p.m. for an exclusive show that elevates your home, mind, and soul. Discover the latest interior design trends to create your dream sanctuary. Unlock your true potential with personal growth strategies. Nourish your body and spirit with expert wellness tips. Don't miss out on the inspiration you need to live your best life. Tune in to the Design Studio this and every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. and take the first step towards a more fulfilling you.
Make me sweat, make me harder.
Me sing, if you pressure no you're illiterate and foolish, you might on a cook. And you not gonna get no work, and your teeth like a puss. Send me granny with a purse, I eat you off the choke. If I see them, I hold you red and big tonight, you puke.
Welcome back to the A-Team Radio Show on Nationwide at 90 FM. If you're just joining us, we are looking at the CSEC Information Technology syllabus. Section 4 was our focus in the first half of this show as we look at data communication and network. We want to also, just before we get into Section 5, I have with us my special guest, Mrs. Janelle O'Malley Jones, and she's doing such a great job helping us through understanding this syllabus here. I feel like the entire nation, right, it will sit this paper come next year, God willing. Right, but before we get into spreadsheet, we just want to look at a few other services provided by the internet or through the internet, and then we're going to go into spreadsheets and what's that all about. So let us continue.
All right, so in COVID, we were locked in. And we needed the internet. The internet was our best friend now, right? So we did, as I said before, e-learning. We did classes online. So that's a service.
Yes.
So a lot of our kids were on Zoom or Google Classroom, right? Having their classes. So e-learning is a service that is offered by the internet. E-commerce, which is the buying and selling of goods online. And even before COVID, we have been doing that. So we go on our Amazon and we buy our goods online. That's a form of e-commerce, or services online. We, also we have video conferencing, having our meetings online as well. That's another service through Skype. Is Skype still up, or everybody using Zoom now?
I believe that Skype is still in operation. But what you find, though, as you talk about some of these video and teleconferencing applications, is that what is common to us, even here in Jamaica, in some other parts of the world, they are using the other applications as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Right. So the internet has become our best friend. We do everything online. Basically, if I don't have to go into the bank to do my transfer, electronic banking, that's another service. I don't go into the bank. I will do my transfer from my cell phone, right? So I have to keep my cell phone very close to me as well, and have a very strong password on my phone, as well as my internet banking.
Yeah. Before you go, let me just maybe a little tangent here, because we have persons listening. Those persons who are amongst us are the elderly as well. Somebody listening right now, watching and saying, well, Mrs. Jones, I'm not going to use those apps because I don't trust them. How can we encourage consumers and citizens to consider using the technology?
Well, to be honest with you, they do have their disadvantage, but the advantages, basically, it outweighs the disadvantages. We have protection, and they are working hard. The banks and the organization are working hard to have our data protected. We have the Data Protection Act. So our information is indeed protected online. Not that we will have these persons who compromise it, but we have to trust the process sometimes. And as what you mentioned before, use the security measures to protect ourselves and our data, and know when not to give out information as well. So we have to be smart. So we can't have persons calling us via the telephone telling us that, oh, you have won such and such, give us your banking information. No, you have to make sure that these things are trustworthy. And sometimes we are the person who actually, get ourselves in trouble to be compromised, aka scam, to be scammed.
Yes.
I remember the first time that happened to me, it was I left my card at a gas station.
Wow.
How careful I am, right? So we have to, in using the technology, even though it has its advantages, we have to protect ourselves too. But I started off by saying that it is a trend nowadays, you understand? So we have to come on board with that. It saves us a lot of time. It saves resources as well.
Right. So a word to the wise is always sufficient, as we say. So we want to ensure that we are doing all that we can to protect our personal data, as much as we have the national systems that are in place to protect data, but we have our own individual day-to-day principles that we need to apply so that we don't fall in those security risk. So e-commerce, e-learning, we see how that has been further advanced coming out of COVID, and we are still doing that. We see that we're still hosting and having our meetings online through our platforms. We're connected through a our video conferencing app right now because you're joining us through one of those platforms. But let's turn our attention and talk about spreadsheets now, because I know this is a part of the syllabus, and for the SBA. Walk us through that a little bit in terms of what is required of the student when they get to this part of the school-based assessment.
All right. So for the Excel part of spreadsheet, Excel, Microsoft Excel is what we use. That's the name of the software that we use to carry out this part of the syllabus. Some students will use Google Sheets as well. However, some aspects of Google Sheets cannot complete the entire SBA, such as the VLOOKUP, which I'll go into that shortly. So for the SBA, you are required to basically develop a system that will give a track of persons' probably income, finding the sum, using averages. So we use different functions, and these are built in formula in Excel.
Yeah.
So we use different functions such as sum, averages, the VLOOKUP, which is very new to the syllabus. It's vertical lookup. So you basically look through the Excel to find data and information and return a value for that.
Yeah.
We have PMT function, and the PMT function is basically a loan function. So I was teaching my class the other day, and I was showing them how, like, for example, if somebody goes into the bank and they're taking out a car loan, how they work out interest and so on.
Right.
So we give the students a scenario, and from that scenario, they're required to basically build a spreadsheet.
Okay. And when we talk about spreadsheet, we use it as well to analyze and to calculate. To
analyze, to
yes.
calculate, right? So in doing our analysis too, we use charts, different charts such as pie chart, showing comparison, bar
Yes.
graphs, yes, line graphs. And you spoke about STEM education earlier.
Yes, yes. I
And right, yes. And we also use spreadsheets in different subject areas such as geography, math, social studies. Yeah, you name it.
Right. One of the things well, thank you for sharing that. You mentioned the VLOOKUP, but as you mentioned that, my mind went back to, like, there's something that's also called HLOOKUP, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Called what?
HLOOKUP. Where we talk about searching across rows, and that's the data in a top
Right.
row, right? And
Right.
the VLOOKUP now would be
It's a vertical.
the vertical with the columns.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. I see.
Yes.
Me not too bad. Me not too bad.
You're not too bad at all. You're not too bad. So
Right.
H is horizontal, V vertical.
Okay. All right. So in the context then of spreadsheet, so the SBA is that they would be given, like, what, case studies in terms of
Right. So they'll be given a case study or a scenario, and they'll be required to basically make this data up themselves, and using the functions and the formula to analyze and to come up with a spreadsheet.
Okay. Would you say that spreadsheets are tedious? Or at this
Well,
level, what they are being given to do is not so
No, it's not.
tedious?
It's not, because what I encourage my teachers to do, and what we do, we started from as early as grade 9 with the basic functions, so like the sum functions, and we show them that the payroll system that the bursary department uses is basically a spreadsheet system, right? So if you want to go in accounting, then you have to learn this part of the syllabus, right? So we start as early as from grade 9. We introduce them to the basic functions such as the sum function, the average function, the date functions, and then we move them up in grade 10 to the VLOOKUP, the if function. You remember that, Damian?
Yes, I remember.
Right.
From programming, yes.
Right.
If function.
Right. And the if function is basically what the banks use. So if your salary is over 1,000, then you're over $100,000 per month, then you're qualified for a loan. So I would not say that it is hard or it's difficult, and it depends on the methods and your approach. For Excel, for the Excel part of the syllabus, definitely you have to have practical sessions with the students.
Yeah.
What we do at Immaculate is that for the SBA, we do it in class and outside of class time. So we give them a part to do in class and we grade that as a class. We don't only use it for SBA grade, we grade that as a class activity or a coursework activity at the end of the day to give them the practice and so on. And the students, trust me, they like this part of it. They like to go on the computer and if they touch something happens. So I don't find it difficult, but it depends on your approach to that part of it.
Definitely. And you know, if they never pay attention into the theory as much, I'm sure when they get to the practical, they come alive.
Right.
You know?
And you know, the truth is, I think, like, for example, that part of the syllabus, I can't just teach the theory. I have to teach the theory while teaching the practical. And you know, Damian, we did technical you did technical, right? Where you had to go into the exam and basically do the practical aspect. The SBA is the only practical aspect of the exam. So in your examination, they will ask you to write, no, in general, they will ask you to write a sum function. So you have to understand it in order to apply it to writing now, or write a VLOOKUP function, or write they give you the spreadsheet and you're supposed to say, okay, if this data is sorted, and we know what sorting is, right?
Yes.
Arranging the data in alphabetical order or descending order, A to Z, Z to A, right? So ascending or descending order. So they'll give you like the spreadsheet and say, if this data was sorted, which name would be in cell E3 or cell E6. And a cell is an intersection between a column and a row. So that's I
wanted to sorry to interrupt there. I want you to hold that point. Let's just go to a break, and when we come back, we can pick up from there. And then I'm going to give you the final section to just address anything else from the syllabus that you like the students to know. This is the A-Team Radio Show. We'll be right back after this.
You're not gonna get no work, and your teeth like a puss. Send me granny with a purse. I eat you off the joke. If I see them, I hold your red and big tonight. You puke, me look and say,
The Police Civilian Oversight Authority will be hosting its Transforming Our Police Service TOPS program on Thursday, December 18, 2025. The TOPS program, established in 2019, aims at ensuring that police officers adhere to Jamaica Constabulary Force policies. Additionally, the program looks at boosting their confidence, morale, and spirits. The program is comprised of 4 phases: the TOPS Area Competition, the TOPS Area Award Ceremony, Area Command Performance, and Area Command Reinspection. All phases that foster professionalism and accountability. Join Cliff Hughes online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast live from the TOPS program on Thursday, December 18, 2025. Only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Police Civil Oversight Authority.
It's the weekend and the youth are taking over the airwaves. Yes, we are the new voices and faces of the Talk Up You radio show. The voice of the Jamaican youth right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
After a busy week of work and school, come and wine with Jamaica's #1 youth radio show.
We're bringing you entertainment, fun facts, and staying true to youth development and advocacy.
Catch the action each and every Saturday as we roll out buzzy segments. What say you?
Youth for chat,
life skills,
global connect, and Bust the Youth.
That's the Talk Up Youth radio show. Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Talk Up Youth, Miss Effie.
Talk Up Youth. Don't miss it.
Me sing, and if you pressure you illiterate and foolish, you might on a cook, and you not gonna get no work, and your teeth like a puss, send me granny with a purse.
Welcome back to our show. And if you're just joining us, well, we're almost at the end, but it's not yet time because we are just winding down as we're talking about section 5 of the CSEC Information Technology syllabus. I have here with me tonight Mrs. Amelia Jones. And you know, just before the break, Mrs. Jones, you were talking about the importance of data sorting. And when we talk about data sorting, it is the process of arranging data in a specific order, such as ascending, descending, based on one or more fields. So you were giving us an example just before the break. I just want you to finish that point first.
Right. So as you clearly said, it's sorting based on fields within Microsoft Excel.
Yes.
So when you're given an exam and they ask you like a sorting question, you're given the Excel sheet and you're given probably the names or some values, and you're asked, okay, if this data was sorted in ascending order, what data would you find in cell E6 or cell E3 and so on. So it's very important to understand sorting, arranging your data in some form of order. Yeah, and you have to, that's always on it. You have to know what ascending means. So ascending means A to Z, alphabetical order, and descending means Z to A.
Okay.
Right, so they'll ask you questions like that. For the SBA, they do give you a mark for sorting as well, sorting your data according to different fields. So if you're sorting your data by last name from A to Z, or you're sorting your data by the amount of money lunch money that you got. So you're sorting in ascending order, so from the least money to the greatest money, and so on.
Right. So then, some examples then of sorting in Excel, as you said, sorting student's name, for example, A to Z. We can sort our exam scores from highest to lowest, for example.
That's it.
We could do sales records by date. We can sort for that as well. And maybe if we have products and we want to sort by prices, we could probably look at that. So those are some examples in terms of sorting data. One of the things that I find as well, that when you talk about data sorting, it also helps with organization and also improving accuracy, because as you go through data, you want to ensure that whatever information that you're providing, that it is accurate, as to the T, as best as possible. So if you were to maybe answer a question, why is data sorting important? You want to mention some of that, especially talk about saving time and helping with decision making. We have a few moments left, Mrs. Jones, and it's very critical for us to encourage our students, and which other area I should probably say then of the CSEC syllabus that we would want them to pay close attention to.
All right, so we would also like to pay close attention to database. Database management system, and we use Microsoft Access for that. No, when you talk about complicated, that's when my students get miserable. But I want to encourage our teachers to give enough practical classes. Don't just give the students the SBA to go home and do on their own. My thing is getting the maximum marks on the SBA, and that will also prepare them for the exam. So when they get these SBAs to go home, and don't just give them all the components at once and give it to them. That's confusing. Break it down. So if you want to give them the Excel part of it first, then the database part, which is also an important aspect. And it's one scenario that we use all these different software for. We spoke about Microsoft Word, I think last
week.
Yes. That's also a very important part of the syllabus. Application and implication of software and technology. Information processing, that's an important part, how data is being processed. We touch on certain aspects of it as well. So when we talk about for information processing, we deal with like turnaround documents. We looked at how data is recorded, and how data is stored, how data is processed or it's outputted. So that's information processing is also a very important aspect of the syllabus that we must do. But as I said before, my thing to teachers is basically just to make it relatable. think of different scenarios to give our students practice with them, because they won't have the computer system in the exam to do these things, especially for the practical part of the exam. So give them some theory as well. And you mentioned that too, Damien. So give them an Excel theory to write the different formula. Give them a database theory to write a query. And for those who don't know queries, questions are questions that we ask our database system. So we want to pull all the students who receive 80 and above in a test, right? So we can ask the database, provide us with all the students who have a score greater than 80. So we use terms, we use the operators such as greater than and equal to sign, less than and equal to sign. Yes. So database is also a very, very important aspect of the syllabus.
Yeah, I like that how you articulate this aspect of it very well, because, and I can see the excitement as I hear it as you.
Honestly, like, it's just put me in a classroom and I get this way.
Wow,
So,
look at that, and that's why we have
Right.
it here. Because I think this part is also critical as we talk about data. And earlier on, you used the example of like the banking systems and so on. We always have data that's being stored, and the management of the database is very
It's
critical.
very important.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Yes,
know,
yes,
so we're being exposed to the tables, the queries, how you request a form in terms of creating the form and then being
Creating
able
a form.
to enter the data, edit it, and to view it at the end, and also to produce reports. I don't think I like producing the reports from what I remember when I was doing.
Really?
No,
man. I tell you, if I was your teacher, you'd be in the field of IT right now.
All right, it's not too late. Not too late. But so Microsoft Word spreadsheet, we can talk a little bit about the programming and also the database. What would you say then is the key takeaway as the students prepare for the exam?
All right. So the key takeaway with the topics that I've covered, or in general?
Yeah, well, both. If you can just sum it up first.
Okay. So as I said before, practice, 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 practice. You have to get on board with that. For the information processing part is for you to just read and understand the material for those parts of the syllabus. For the programming part of it is about practicing as well, and basically exposing the students to different examples so that they can relate to it. And that is why we need the programming languages, for them to see that the program is working and they can, relate to these things. And also we have past paper banks. I am big at that too. You understand that? Prepare our students with answering the questions, because they will know what it is, but we are dealing with application now, and we have to teach our children how to apply the knowledge that they have learned in the classroom, and the practice is never too much.
Never too much. Thank you for sharing those wise words with us, Mrs. O'Mealy Jones. I would want to call you IT educator and IT advocate, and helping us to break down the terms and to understand them, because outside of the classroom, inside the classroom, every day as we interact with each other, we do need technology. We do use these data communication devices and network. I want to say thank you so much, Mrs. Jones, for coming on to share with us last week and this week. And who knows, before the exam time, we might call it back again. But we'll see. And to all of our listeners or viewers, I also want to acknowledge those persons in the YouTube chat. I see you are also learning as well and interacting with the terms, the intranet, the extranet.
Right.
So they're learning, Mrs. Jones. So you're doing a
Damien, before we go, I
Yes.
have to say big up to Uncle David. He was locked in from last week, and he said that he's always on your program.
Oh,
so I can't
yes.
leave without saying, hi, Uncle David.
Okay. Big up Uncle David, wherever you are.
Right. He's learning the IT as well.
Okay, he's learning it. Great. And so we just want to leave that part of the program this evening. And when we come back next week, winding down the syllabus, heading into the holidays, but we will certainly have another subject that will be turning our focus on. And I just want to leave this quote with us, that a well-organized database is like a library where every book has its place. Spreadsheets help you to calculate, but databases help you to understand and manage information efficiently. I want to say thank you. Yes, definitely. I want to say thank you so much to our technical operator, Andrew Anderson, our executive producer, Dennis Brooks. And I'm tuning out. Damon Scarlett, enjoy your weekend and see you next week.
We look and say, if you not no education, people treat you like a book. Turn you in a handy man, dog.
The Police Civilian Oversight Authority will be hosting its Transforming Our Police Service TOPS program